Again, it's pointing to me.
Let's turn it around.
Hey.
Yeah?
Hey,
So I don't know where the head is, so I don't
There it is. It's right there.
We're on.
All right, Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites of the Lions Den Camp. And we come out every week. That was a good time. Prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom, also known as Babylon in the scriptures, also spiritually known as Sodom and Gomorrah, spiritually known as Egypt, spiritually known as Nineveh. All right. But before we start this lesson and edification dealing with prophecy, we will give praises to the Most High and His Son, Yahushua, our King, that blessed us with this word in the spirit that we're in today. All right? Let's say, Kal, Halayim, La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Ha, Rakah, Kodash, Ma'amah. All right, double honor to our elders over there at GMS, and shalom to you, Akim, and Akwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. All right? Today, we want to go into some eye-opening or edification dealing with these recent floods that's been happening, or dealing with the situation out there in Fort Lauderdale where they got massive flooding and people are using boats, what you call them things, canoes, you know, people trapped inside their homes because of this recent flooding where they got they said there was so much rain that it hasn't happened like this in almost 1,000 years. And they got it all in one day. They got like 4 years of rain or 4 months of rain in one day. Now that lets you know that there's a hidden hand somewhere, somebody manipulating things, man. Will somebody start off with that scripture we was talking about in Corinthians?
This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11.
Right.
It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
There you go. See, Satan is who? The adversary. That word Satan means contender or adversary. Who's the adversary to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai? That's the devil, Esau. All right, the Caucasian, so-called Caucasian race. And they're the ones running this government, running these scientific hubs where they control and manipulate weather. All right. And in this situation, the Lord said what? We are not ignorant. The scriptures say we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right. And what are they doing? What's one of their devices today? Weather manipulation. You see that? To put fear in people, to cause floods. They want these floods to happen so they can build what they call smart cities and get you to run into them and eventually give you that, you know, needle to the arm. All right. So it's all a form of control and manipulation. That's why you have wildfires over there in California. That's why you have something called atmospheric rivers, to where it's so much water being dumped out into the ocean on the West Coast that it's starting to overpopulate the clouds. So it starts to evaporate into the clouds and it creates a river in the sky. You know? And that's what Esau doing, man, messing everything up. So now what they're doing now is something called cloud seeding. We know it as chemtrails. See, cloud seeding is when they add silver oxide or iodide to the clouds, and those little tiny grains of silver on a molecular level, you know, they spread into the cloud, and what happens is it affects the people on the ground and the marine life and the animals upon the ground, man, and they know this, you know. So yeah, real quick, and the cloud seeding process is they add this silver or barium oxide or potassium iodide or dry ice, or the other form of it would be just solid carbon dioxide, and that's what they add into the clouds. And when they add it to the clouds, they can make it rain, or they can make it stop raining. They can make it rain more, you know. But the clouds got to be there first, and then they add to the rain. They ain't creating the rain.
The best example of that is in Vietnam, where that's when they first used it.
against the Vietnamese forces,
Right.
and they made the monsoon season a more heavy monsoon and kind of like washed out a lot of their roads, and they couldn't use a lot of their trucks.
Right. And they've been doing it in America since the 1940s. All right. So they're doing it on the West Coast, and now they started doing it right here in Florida, called cloud seeding. And they know about the flooding that it's going to cause, man. All right. So the reason they're doing it is because they say America is in drought. And that's according to the scriptures too. We're gonna get that. Jeremiah 50 and 38. Go ahead, buddy. You got precept.
All right, like I said that the video was on Tuesday. I don't think.
Until we done. I think I cancel that off.
All right. So this is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. And did y'all catch that precept he just threw out?
Yeah, Jeremiah.
All right, okay. All right, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2. It says, wherein times, verse 1, it says, and you have he quickened who are dead in trespasses and sins, wherein in times past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience. So the prince of the power of the air is talking about Esau, and some of these weather manipulation tactics that he uses are some of the things that he uses to bring upon fear upon the people, get the people to move according to fear, so they can manipulate the minds of other people. So that's what it means. The prince of the power of the air. Not only does he control this weather stuff, but he controls what goes on in society through fear.
In a minute. Yeah. We're gonna go back to that in a second.
Come.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 38. It says, a drought is upon her waters, Salaki. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images,
Right. Come on.
and they are mad upon their idols.
Right. I'll get that power to y'all for loud speaking people listening out here. Now he said, what? Drought is upon her waters. So the Lord said there's gonna be a drought here. All right. So the Lord is cursing this place with a drought. That way you had that whole drought over there in the West Coast. Next thing you know, you started hearing about wildfires, and then you started hearing about the atmospheric river and flooding in the West Coast. And then you started having a drought over here in the on the east. And now, to fight what they call drought, they started doing this thing called cloud seeding ever since the 1940s, man. All right, adding and manipulating the weather, which anything in the hands of these devils, they can use it as a weapon. All right, but what did the Lord say? Somebody get that? No weapon formed against these. That's right, man. All right, and then let's go to Ephesians 2 and 2. Yeah, no. That's not really going in the weather.
This Isaiah 54 and 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushua.
See that? So the Lord said no weapon. See that? So they're going to be forming many weapons against us, man. Not just the ICBMs, not just the MOTB, but the weapons of their weather manipulation. Putting stuff in the foods, GMOs. All right, the police on the streets, everything that they set up is usually really against us, man. All right, trying to wear out the saints. So I said, what was that scripture you just read? Oh, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper, man. And his weather modification tool is known as a weapon, as you just heard the brother Zariah just talking about. All right, they can use weapon modification.
It is a NASA in Cape Canaveral, Florida, with basically southern Florida. They have this big old huge silo thing to where they got a big rocket engine where they blast fire down and it makes clouds.
Yeah.
And it makes it rain. So and they do that. I was watching a documentary some years ago on Channel 7, regular TV. It was some Edomite host or whatever, and he was doing a report and they turned it on. And it was producing clouds, and after him standing out there for about 5 minutes, it literally started to rain.
Right, yep. Then they did the cloud seeding to it. Yep. So they produced the clouds, and then they put the cloud seeding to it to produce more water on the earth. All right, to stop their drought that the Lord cursing them with. They can't stop the judgment of the Lord.
Right, that would be like fake osmosis, wouldn't it?
Fake, yep. What's it called? Height. Yeah, osmosis.
All right.
Go ahead, bro.
Let's go. I got an interjection on what you know when you were speaking on all these different things that's created for destruction and for vengeance. All right, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 29. Fire, hail, and famine, and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts, and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, pushing the wicked to destruction.
All right.
And I just brought that out to back up the elder, man. You know, he was naming a couple of things that was made, that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai made for destruction. You know, I just pulled out that scripture to name some of those things.
That's right, man. And the floods are one of them. All right. Somebody get that Psalms 32 and 6. That's right. Psalms 32 and 6, man. Because the Lord said these floods are going to come, and they're going to show up in the form of martial law troops. It's going to show up in the form of literal water flooding the areas out. They're going to show up in the form of missiles. All right. The Lord said the floods are going to beat upon these houses, upon these people, but the elect are not going to fall in the midst of this stuff. All right, go ahead, brother. Whoever got it.
This is Psalms chapter 32, verse 6. For this shall everyone that is godly pray unto thee.
Right. Yep. So everyone that's godly is going to pray to the Lord for their protection. He said, we're going to run into the house of Yahweh and be safe, meaning to his name. Go ahead.
In the time when thou mayest be found.
Right. So now is the time that the Lord may be found. He said, seek him early while he may be found. And the door is open to us now. All right. Yahweh Shai, you know, go ahead.
Surely in the floods of great waters, they shall not come nigh unto him.
Whoa. All right. So in the flood of great waters, they shall not come nigh unto the elect. All right. And that's what we're hoping for. We pray to the Lord for that, to protect us in whatever cities we're in and whatever form of flood comes against us, whether it be men, whether it be water, whether it be destruction. All right. So it comes to you in waves. Look at Ephesians 2 to start off.
It's the book of Ephesians, chapter 2 and verse 2. Wherein in time past you walk according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air.
Right. So the course, my bad. Now, the course of this world represent the word course goes into age. All right. The word course goes into the age. So he said, in times past, you walked according to the age of this world. Who's ruling this age? Who ruled the Roman Empire? Who ruled the Greek Empire? The Caucasian race, also known as Edomites. All right. So in times past, we walked according to their will, according to their mindset, calling ourselves Black, African, not knowing who we were. All right. But now that we know who we are, that we're the Israelites, we walk according to the what? To the truth, to the godliness.
I got appreciate.
All right. And he said, you walk according to the age of this world. Right. Let me finish this real quick. Go ahead. So it lets you know the target right there, who's ruling this world. Go ahead.
Where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
See that? The same spirit that's in Esau is working that wickedness on 2/3 of our people. All right. So he said the prince of the power of the air. What did that mean? It doesn't mean prince of the power. It means the prince that has power over the air, literally, over the elements, man. And that's been given to him. Somebody get Job 9 and 24. So that's been given to Esau. The whole earth has been given to Esau.
This is Job chapter 9, verse 24.
Right.
It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
There you go. So the earth, the whole earth, that doesn't just mean the ground, the Ratazah. That means the earth, man, and everything in it has been given over to Esau to manipulate it with, man. And the Lord going to use Esau, according to Revelation chapter 6, you know, to bring hell upon this earth, man. All right, before he gets here. Let's get that, Revelation 6.
All right. Yep. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6, Verse 4.
Yeah, pale horse, yep.
A pale? Okay. Verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
There you go.
And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth.
Right, so who is that? The Edomites. They control the whole earth, known as the Caucasian race. Yep, that's them. They running the world, and look what they're doing with it. They've been the devils, the deceivers on this earth. You see that? Walking around with a coke and a smile now.
Interjection.
That's right. Go ahead, brother.
All right, this is Genesis chapter 27, verse 38. And Esau said to his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above.
Right, meaning they're going to be a field dweller. And everything that falls upon the earth, they're going to take. You know? The dew from above. That means they're going to be outside, field dwellers, vagabonds upon the earth. And anything that falls on the earth is going to be theirs. And they're going to take it with the sword. That fatness means increase.
That was it.
Yeah, a point on it?
Nah, basically, that they everything that touches the ground, they're going to put their hands on. And they manipulate and run everything on earth as it is today.
Yeah, they're manipulating everything. That's right. Yep. So yeah, he said what? His name is Death, and hell followed him, man. So anything they take part in, if they say, hey, we're gonna modify the weather, it's gonna be hell after that. If they say, hey, we're gonna help out with the foods, it's gonna be hell after that. You let Esau, the Caucasian race, get to it. They're gonna delete this. Brother got it on camera.
I'm about to say.
Mommy!
I don't know how to fix it either, but
Mommy! Hey, I got I'm going back to that Ephesians 2 and 2 because I got an interjection on that.
yeah, go ahead. You can bring your interjection real quick.
All right. This First Corinthians chapter 2, verse 12. All right, it says, now we have not received the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of Yahweh, that we might know the things that are freely given unto us of Yahweh. So basically, we go back to Ephesians 2 and 2. It says, the prince of the power of the air. This is the spirit. Somebody bring it out one more time real quick because there was a point on there that I want to touch on dealing with that.
Which scripture?
Ephesians 2 and 2.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 2 and verse 2. Where in time past ye walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now worketh in the children of disobedience.
So that's the spirit of this world. That's that carnal spirit that's in Esau that 2/3 of our people take part in. But there's a separation from the elect from that. All right. This is 1 Corinthians 2 and 12. It says, all right, but in times past we were working according to the spirit of this world. Right? It says, now we have not received the spirit of the world, which is the spirit, but the spirit which is of Yahweh, that we might know the things freely given unto us of Yahweh. So the spirit that's given unto the ones that follow behind Yahweh by Shema Shai is not the spirit of this world. It's the spirit of righteousness, and that's what we follow behind. But 2/3 of our people are caught up in the manipulation of the elements that this devil is doing, was caused by them having a carnal structured mind. They think of everything carnally, so they follow according to the course of Esau and his works and his doings.
Right. So that's why they call him the prince, the prince over the power of the elements of this world, man. All right. So look at Ephesians. Look at Ezekiel 28 and 2. You know, because Esau thinks that he's God. That's called playing God. All right.
Ezekiel.
What you got?
2 Thessalonians 2.
This is Zeke.
Oh, let me wait on that.
28 and 2.
2 and 3.
2 and 3.
No.
28 and 2.
Yep. 28 and 2. All the way to 4. Okay.
All right, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, and I'm gonna start at verse 2. Son of man, say unto the prince of Titus, come. Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of the God in the midst of the seas.
Right, so that's Esau, man. And what did it say? They want to set their house in their seat in the north. That's when they started ruling over here in North America. All right. So amongst the sea of people, you know, upon this earth, Esau is ruling. And they think they're God because of their money, because of their power. And according to Habakkuk chapter 2, it said the spirit that's lifted up in them is not right. So because they transgress by wine through their business, they believe that they're God, man. All right. They call themselves super billionaires, super trillionaires. All right. So they think that they're God, meaning like the only powers. All right. Go ahead.
Yet thou art a man.
See that the Lord gonna show them that they just men. See, the Lord created these clouds. Everything that the Lord already did, they try to imitate it. All right,
And not God.
right. They are just men, and they're not the Most High, man. They're not the God. Also, you know.
Though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High.
Right. They set their heart that way, but the Lord said, "What? The heart is deceitful above all things." You know. Go ahead.
Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
Right. So that's why they got all this science, and through their science, they found out the weather patterns. You got all this technology today. They created AI technology, all these different systems that can read weather and manipulate it now. All the think tanks and the innovators, teaming, right? Go ahead. So there's nothing that can be hid from them. You know, they even trying to look into the spirit world. But like I was saying years ago, when everybody was saying you can't say Adam, you can't say Adam. Well, that's what's happening. They're trying to look into the core of everyone's being, which is at the what you call the nuclei? What they call the God gene. That's what they're after, man. They're trying to find the ultimate source of energy so they can control the world with it. They can't find it out in space because they can't go out there as far as they want. They try to do it upon Earth. That's why you got China creating suns, artificial suns, which is really a nuclear hub to hold energy in the sky. So they all trying to harness energy. Graphene oxide, they're trying to harness that. And then right, so they want to harness the body too. Look into the body like a universe. And take the energy from it like a battery, like on the Matrix. All right. Go ahead, brother.
With thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures.
See, because they got all that gold and silver and riches into thy treasures, you got the Rothschilds, you know, the Klaus Schwabs and all of them, the Bill Gates. When he was just he was somebody that allegedly stole his whole business. You see the commercials going around talking about it. And he said he read a bunch of books. So I stopped there, right? So yeah, man, they because of their riches, they think they can do anything, and they set their eyes bearing down to the earth, looking at everybody as prey, called what? Depopulation or population control. All right, so they're using fear tactics like weather manipulation. Just like in Fort Lauderdale, they had all that rain in one day that flooded the whole city.
It was the airport flooded too, wasn't it?
The airport was flooded too. All right? Because the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, we're the Israelites of the Bible. The Father's true name is Yahweh, and his Son's name is Yahushua. All right? Go ahead. Who is reading now? Yep, let's get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 15. And then bring it up. You want to bring it up now?
Yeah, I got it. This is Matthew chapter 8, verse 26. And he said unto them, why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? This is Yahushua speaking unto the disciples after he just got done walking on the water. Right. Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, what manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? That manner of man is the Son of the Lord, Yahushua. Right. So people, specifically the heathen Esau, they think that they're marvels. They think that they're gods here on earth, but really all they are is men.
Right. Yep. And the scriptures say that man is as the grass upon the earth. they grow like the flowers. They blossom, meaning they grow rich upon this earth. They come up with their ideas and they plans. They manifest it on earth, and then they die off. You know, just like the Rothschilds. What's his name? The guy said he wanted to come back as a disease.
What?
Yeah, the king that died.
King that died.
Right.
Just recently died.
Yeah. So.
Duke of Wellington. Duke of.
Right. Yeah. All of their plans are nothing but what? Vanity. All right. So even their new world order is nothing but vanity. All right. Go ahead, brother.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom?
Right. So Edom is who we call, who they taught us is who? The Caucasian race. They're the Edomites on this earth, spoken of in the scriptures. All right. And look what they did to our people. So they got a judgment coming to them for that. But our people got to turn back to our power for them to get that judgment. They're getting their judgment either way, but 2/3 of our people are going to perish real soon in what's coming. Unless they repent to the Most High, just like during the times of Noah. He taught for what, 130 years, something like that, 120 years? And people didn't listen. They didn't believe him that it was going to rain. That was before the time it rained. Now they don't believe us that it's going to rain fire. The Lord said he's going to judge the earth with fire this time. How is he going to do it? He's going to manipulate these countries into going to World War III. That's why you're hearing about Russia, Persia, Iran, all these nations shooting missiles. Those are spoken of in the scriptures. All right, so Yahweh is the name of the Father, and his son's true name is Yahushua. And the way to get back to the Father is through his son, Yahushua. He said, those that call upon my name shall be saved. If you don't know his name, you're going to get left here. He's going to turn those people into what? Powder. You seen it on the Terminator when their eyes burned in their head. Connor, she was holding on to the gate. That's a good description of what's about to happen here. All right,
So
go ahead.
You got it on the post, you know?
Yeah, it's all good though. Go ahead. Or whoever.
Obadiah 1 and 8. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom?
Right, he destroyed their wise men. Look at Biden. Look at Trump. Look at the people they call their wise men. Look at the elites. Look at Klaus Schwab and them. Look at Bill Gates. That's their wise men. A person that said he read a lot of books and he don't know anything. Right. They manipulate the weather. They manipulate people with these putting stuff in their arm. Now you got people dying and dropping dead everywhere with heart attacks after they went and got it. See that? So they believed them. They trusted in this crooked system, purposely made to twist them. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
And understanding out of the mount of Esau.
Right, so the Lord made their wisdom worldly. All right? Worldly wisdom is what? Foolishness. All right, go ahead, brother.
And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
See that? So they're going to be dismayed. And at the end of the day, their nation is going to be cut off by slaughter from what they did to us. You see that? But a lot of our people become, what do you call that? Homeborn slaves. Stockholm syndrome. They don't want. They lost that feeling of revenge. But we have the revenger, the avenger, Yahushua. He's about to be sent. The same one that delivered us out of Egypt in 1446 BC. All right. The same one that delivered us out of Egypt is going to deliver us out of this Egypt. Go ahead, but 2/3 going to turn into a burnt pieces of bacon here. Go ahead, brother.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 13, starting at verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Right.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
See that? See, if you got an ear, you're supposed to hear this. Those that killed our people, right here, hold that up, brother. The Lord said they got a judgment coming to them for that. They didn't do that because they were super powerful. They did that to us because our people being wicked. Our people want to eat pork, eat shrimp, lobster. I love your girl. Adultery. Talking to other people's wives, stealing, killing. Listen to all this poisonous music on the radio, pumping that death into our mind to hate our people, pumping that death into darkness into our ear, so we can turn our eye evil towards each other. You don't never see a so-called black man walking up the street and see a Caucasian man. They be speaking, hi, hey, good morning. But we see each other, we walk, what you looking at? What you looking at? See what I'm saying? We've been taught to be that way. By who? the people that own the industry, they pay the radio to play their wicked music and keep out the conscious music we used to listen to in the 80s and 90s and stuff, man. You know, self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. We don't hear that no more.
You never heard of Ed Sheeran talking about killing another Edomite.
Right.
Never heard about Katy Perry talking about killing anybody.
Right, man.
You don't hear country music talking about killing each other.
So these are all weapons that are formed against us, man. And the Lord said against the elect, it will not prosper. See, the elect gonna wake up to the truth. You know? Go ahead. Somebody reading something? Go ahead. Okay. Let's get them all real quick and we're gonna get back to the lesson.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way.
That's right, man. So the mystery of iniquity been working since the Roman Empire. But the Lord said they're not going to move. Why? Because that's a chastisement. What's that? The wicked, the sword. The Lord raised up these nations against us because we were being wicked. And when our judgment is over, at that final second, when the Lord says it's over for them, that's when He's going to bring them down. He's going to bring them down in the midst of World War III. There's about to be a dollar crash, meaning you ain't going to be able to go to the store and buy anything. Because they're switching the money from fiat currency to paper money. They're switching it to digital. And that's happening like now. You can hear it on the radio. Did you have your CBDCs? CBDC, you're gonna hear that a lot. CBDC means central bank digital currency. And central bank digital currency operates differently than blockchain, what we use like crypto. So when they bring in this CBDC, people go, all right, cool, I just move to crypto. I move to this. They're gonna shut that down. They're gonna say everybody got to go through CBDC through the Federal Reserve. And when they do that, that's when you get Revelation 13, to where they start to bring in the I can't say it on the internet, they shut our videos down. Yeah, show them the sign down there. This is their whole goal, to bring in the MOTB. Watch it back, brother.
Con.
All right, you can point to it, let them see it?
Yeah. Can you help me out?
Help me, brother.
Right here is how they're going to try to inject it.
See that?
Put it into the body.
So they already did the precursor to it. Right. When they said it's the lockdowns, you can't go anywhere, you gotta wear a mask, all that was fake. How about that? All that was fake. And I can show you the people. If you look up a guy named Yuval Noah, like Duval, Yuval Noah, they the ones doing it. And he's saying it like, yeah, these people think they have a soul. But we can't get them to take what we want them to take, so we're gonna use fear to do it. So now you're seeing floods pop up everywhere. You're seeing trains crashing everywhere. And now they're gonna try to collapse the economy and bring in a cyber attack. And that, remember we said it, and it's all for deception to get you to follow them. But the Lord said what? Somebody get that? Isaiah, Egypt for help. Is that in Isaiah?
It's Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to the lesson.
Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, not of my spirit.
That's right. See, our people, 2/3 of our people, the Lord said destruction unto them that go down to Egypt for help. And that happened, what was that? During the time of Isaiah. And our people were trying to go back into Egypt back then. Okay? I think Isaiah talked from 740 BC all the way to, I think he talked to about 701 BC. And during that time, our people were trying to go back into Egypt. When we got taken out of Egypt, during the time of Moses in 1446, our people wanted to go back. So the Lord said, curse are those that go down to Egypt for help. So the same thing goes for today. Instead of seeking the Lord for help, our people going straight to the government for help. You see that? So he said, woe to them, man. Right? And now they're getting set up. You know what I mean? You're stuck in the arm. Go ahead, brother.
That they may add sin to sin.
So they add another sin unto another sin. You know, so we're supposed to be coming out of sin. All right, sin is the transgression of the law. Go ahead, brother.
They walk to go down into Egypt. They have not asked at my mouth.
Right, you got to ask at his mouth. And who's his mouth? His mouth is the man of the Lord. That's his voice. All right? And that's how important the so-called man of our nation is. All right? The Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, We that important. We actually the mouthpiece, the voice of God on this earth. But they treat us like we're on the bottom. And they treat us like we're nothing. But we are nothing in this society, as we should be. Because this is not our kingdom. The Lord said this is not our rest. Right? So we should be nothing here. You know, last one's hired, first one's fired. All right, go ahead. That was it.
To strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt.
Right, so they trust in the shadow of Egypt. What's the shadow of Egypt? You read Psalms 23, you'll see that it's the shadow of death. So anything here that you try to hide up under, universities, religions, you know, the government, it's all the shadow of death. And that goes into Revelation 6. The Lord gave them the power of death to kill. And they're talking about depopulating the earth. Our children, man. LGBT, the letters, you know, the alphabet gang. I call them the BLM, the Baal, Lucifer, Molech movement. They coming for our children. So this is the way to fight back. This is the spiritual battle. You can't carry guns to this battle. Yeah, one more word. Go ahead.
Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion.
Right, so everything they strengthen our people with, money, guns, you know, whatever, I can't say it because they're going to shut our page down. Philosophy. Anything they strengthen our people with, that's going to become their shame. See that? So the Lord said, come out of her, my people. So we're supposed to come out of this place mentally. You know, it's time to start pulling away from this and leaning upon Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, trusting his word. Revelations 1 and 3, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, because the time is at hand. All right? Go ahead, brother.
This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Right, don't shy away from this moment. Don't shy away from what we're called to do. Be strong. You know, go out there and stand 10 toes down for the truth. Start off with the milk and then grow. Study to show yourself approved, then grow to be a man in the truth or a sister in the truth. You know, and then go out to the streets and teach as men, giving off our testimony. That means go the full way with it. Become a full Israelite. Put the scriptures say, put on as the elect. That's what it means, being strong in the Lord, having faith, trusting in the Lord. He said, let patience have a perfect work and move not in haste. So when they start saying, oh yeah, lockdowns, everybody, oh, what I'm gonna do? You see what I'm saying? Just wait. I gotta do it. I gotta do it because they're gonna fire me. No, they won't. Challenge it. Push on that wall and see if the Lord don't move it for you. You know what I mean? Give it some time. And now look, it done went past. Everybody done went down there and did it. Ain't no mask out. You know what I'm saying? It's a fear tactic. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Right, so now we got to put on the whole armor of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Yahweh is the name of the Father. B'Shem means in. Ha means does. Shem means name. All right, Yahushua, that's the Messiah's name. So we have to put on that whole armor. What's that? The armor of truth. The armor of prophecy. All right? You got to have the truth. And that's going to be your covering. Not hiding up under these religions. Go ahead, brother.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this world.
Right. We wrestle against the silent hand, the hidden hand that's running things. The people that run things behind the scenes. That's who we're wrestling against. All right? We're not wrestling against anything physical where we can just take guns to the battle. This is a spiritual battle. So if you want to stand up for your family, you want to stand up for your mother, your sister, your brother, this is how you do it. But it starts with you. Revelations 1 and 3, blessed, like his shirt say. The word blessed means to be favored, just like you have your favorite pair of shoes. So you'll be favored by the Lord if you begin to read. And the Lord said he'll come in and sup with you, man. He'll build with you, all right? And have you prepared, and have you covered from what's coming. To block you from the wiles of the devil, to block you from the ICBM missiles they're going to shoot. Go ahead.
This is Psalms chapter 17, verse 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword.
Right, so there you go. So the Lord raised up the wicked against us. Who's the wicked? Esau. These people right here. That's the wicked. You know, so we see them on this earth ruling. Now we know why. because our God put them in power. So that means our God is the same one that can take them out of power. They tell us, hey, Zeus. That's our people praising Zeus. That's not his name. J-E-S-U-S. That means Zeus. We're not pagans. We got to go back to the Hebrews. Go back to Moses, Masha. You know what I mean? Hezekiah. All these Israelites in the Bible, man, those are our people. Those are your forefathers. You read the book of Matthew. All right? Go ahead.
Interjection a little
Yeah,
bit.
these about to be our slaves on this earth, man. For 1,000 years, the Lord said. And it's about to happen. He said the proof is the prophecies are going to come to pass. They're going to be World War III. It's written in the Bible. They're going to shoot missiles on each other. They're going to be sedition among men, meaning riots out here, race wars. The dollar's going to crash according to Revelation 13. They're going to change the system to a new world order. And the Lord said, what? That's the last prophecy that got to happen before the missiles get shot. So we at the end of the end. This is the end of it. This is the end of their rulership. I'm going to get there. Second Ezra chapter 6.
And going along with the elder said, right, the reason why I brought up the first scripture, because we have to put on the whole armor of the Most High, right? Because he's bringing judgment on this earth. He's going to bring the judgment. So, but if we have on the armor, the full armor, which is the truth, the prophecies, and the scriptures, if we have on the whole armor, then he's using the wicked as a sword to bring judgment on the earth. That's why King David said, deliver me from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right, verse 14. From men which are thy hand, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hidden treasures. They are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. And that's what they intend to do. For their inward thoughts is that their house is going to continue forever. So what do? They set up memorials. Why do you want to take these memorials down? Our people praise because they're taking down statues. No, those statues are witnesses of what they did to our people. Why would you want them to take it down?
Evidence.
It's evidence. They want to take away all evidence, and they control the school curriculum. What's next? Now they're saying critical race theory. They don't want to teach about slavery anymore in the school system. So they're literally trying to erase everything they did to our people so they can go forth, and our people be thinking in their minds that we're supposed to be in the position that we're in right now. And we have no way out. But this is our way out.
Yep.
This is our way out.
Just like Habakkuk chapter 2, the beam shall cry out.
Yeah, I get it.
Right, man, that's evidence. Even their money is evidence against them. In the book of James, it says their money is their gold and silver is cankered, meaning cancerous. And the cancer of it, meaning the damage that it caused on the earth, is going to be a witness against them when the Lord shows up. It's going to show that they've been the rich man, and look what they did with the earth. You know? Go ahead.
All right, this is Habakkuk chapter 2.
So they're talking about their dollar. Their dollar is funny money. It's fake money. You know, it's a fiat currency, meaning floating money. All right? So it really has no value to it. But while we get money, we increase in debt. You know, the dollar is a form of debt. So the more money you have, like Floyd Mayweather, he got that much debt. And it increases the debt of America. While overseas, that money goes to the gold and silver, and the resources go to them. You know, over in Europe, over there in China, over there in Iran. Go ahead.
All right. Habakkuk 2:9. Woe to him that coveted evil covenants to his house.
Right, that's what America did by taking on that dollar. They covered it through greed. That's what covetousness means to take violently or through a deceptive way. So they took this whole world in 1973 by establishing what you call the petrodollar. You know, the petrodollar. That's what they used that to force. America made a deal with King Faisal and told them to say, hey, man, of Saudi Arabia, said, you got to force all these nations to buy oil in our dollar. And they said, we'll do it. All right, we'll protect the oil fields. Look what happened to the oil fields there. But they said, yo, you got to force all the nations to buy dollars to buy oil from the OPEC nations, oil, petroleum exporting countries. That's Iran, all those nations, right? They got all the oil. So now they say, yo, all the nations got to do it. That's when all the nations like North Korea, Russia, all these nations started buying dollars as a reserve currency. That's what created our economy today. Right. So now all the nations started something called BRICS, right? BRICS meaning BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South America. They all together, and they said, we're going to do deals in cryptocurrency. We're going to do deals for oil in the ruble and the yuan. We're done with the dollar. So what does that mean? The petrodollar is done. The petrodollar is done. What does that mean? The dollar is done. If the dollar is done, what does that mean? America's economy is done. You see that? So that's what the Lord said. What they created, this dollar, this system of slavery, where we become sweat equity slaves, meaning our sweat is their money. Well, we got to work to eat. We don't have farms. You know what I mean? Because we have farms and we had our own gold and silver, like Mansa Musa, when he gave all the gold to the poor, it shut down the economy. Because there's no economy no more. There's no rich and poor. Everybody rich. You see that? So the Caucasian race, Esau, their job is trying to keep us poor so their people can remain rich and they can pass it on to their children, like the brother was reading. All right? So they're full of children. They're all over the earth, man. Everywhere you go, they think it's their neighborhood. But this is ours. We helped create this earth with Yahweh Shah. And now the Lord is about to give that back to us, man, for eternity. And He's going to give us bodies to enjoy it. Then He give us these bodies? You got a spirit in there. So He can take that spirit and put it back into a body. Reincarnation is in the Bible. All right, go ahead, read, brother.
All right, this is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 9. It says, woe unto him that covenant evil covenants to his house, right, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil.
Right, so America's been set on high according to the book of Revelation. It says they sit upon all the nations as a queen. You know? But the Lord said, what? Come down and sit in the dust because there's no more throne. There's no more rulership in this world for America. All right, read that again so I can get the point.
All right. Habakkuk 2 and 9. Woe unto him that covenant evil covenants to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil.
Right, the Lord called this place the house of the thief. So they coveted evil covetousness to their house, that they may be delivered from poverty, keep themselves rich. Even today, part of that evil covetousness going to weather manipulation. So where they can stop the drops that the Lord bring into this place. They're doing something called cloud seeding, adding silver to the cloud, what you call chemtrails. You'll see them behind those planes. You got condensation, which is natural steam. You see a plane going by, you see the steam, and then it disappears. But when you see them long trails, look like a grid in the sky, and then it start coming down, and you look on your car, it's all kind of brown stuff, and people sneezing and getting sick. They're doing that on purpose. They're creating storms, and they're decreasing storms. They're putting barium oxide, dry ice, and silver iodide into the clouds to manipulate the rain. So they're causing too much rain. This causes what? Floods on the earth. Now you have Fort Lauderdale. You see what I mean? All right, in Miami. Yep. So they're using fear tactics to scare us out of communities, to trap us in the houses, and to turn to the government for help. And their help is going to be a poison. Go ahead.
Verse 10, it says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul.
Right, they cut off many people in the world, especially the nation of Israel, our people. But they came over and killed the Gadites to build a system of slavery for the Spaniards. Right? They cut off the tribe of Judah from the western coast of Africa when we ran into Africa after 70 AD. We're not Africans, we ran into Africa. And the Africans sold us into slavery. You see that? They're not our people. Our people are the Latinos, the Native Americans, and the Haitians, Jamaicans, you know, the same people that's in the ghettos. The Africans not our people. That's why they got tribal marks. So they can make a separation. Just because they're dark skinned, that doesn't mean they're our people. All right, go ahead.
Verse 11. For the stones shall cry out of the wall.
Right, these are the statues that they're trying to tear down. There's a witness against them. It's crying out. It's crying out of death. That's why you got Andrew Jackson, one of the Andrew Jackhead, one of the biggest slave owners in the world. That's a witness to us, man. So our children will see that and say, all right, yeah, that day's still coming. Go ahead. They haven't been paid back for that yet because the statues are still there.
For the stones shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it.
There you go. All right. So all the monuments on the earth and the slave houses, you know, all the cemeteries of the slaves, all these banks that were built off the backs of slaves through slavery, all of that is It's gonna be what? It's gonna cry. It's a crying out to the Lord, man. Right? It's gonna be a memorial for what they did to our people.
Verse 12.
The scriptures say, woe to the bloody city. They take the blood, they hide it not. They lay it on top of a rock. They teach it in school. They teach it right in our face, everything they did to it. And the Lord right there watching, He's gonna judge them for that. All right? Go ahead.
All right, verse 12. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity.
Right, so they built this whole town, America, with blood and established it with iniquity. Iniquity is another word for wickedness. So they established this whole place, America, through wickedness and paganism and thievery and through fraud with the dollar. All right, go ahead.
That was it.
All right, let's get back to Job 9. Well, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 15. All right, go ahead. Yeah, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7.
This is a rock. Chapter 12, and verse 10. Never trust thy enemy.
Right. Never trust our enemy in any situation. Don't trust them. But our people, if our people don't know who the enemy is, they're gonna trust everybody. Right?
For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Right. So you watch iron, the same with that rust, over time, it get worse and worse. So that's the same thing that happened to Esau. Their wickedness is worse. Through the technology and through all these schools and universities, they just enhance their nation to become even more wicked. You see that? And how to be more hateful towards our people. They got more religions out here. All right, so they got more power. So as their power increased, so did their wickedness. All right, so how can you trust them even more today? So as their power increased, so did their wickedness, and also so does their mask. You know, the Lord calls them the deceiver, the devil. So that became strong too. So their children seek to please the poor. They try to give gifts, you know, money.
They have more curtains to hide behind.
They got more curtains to hide behind, man. So they're more wicked today, man. You can't trust them. Go ahead. The same ones that took us down to slavery, how can you trust them? The same ones that built Monsanto. The same ones that did the Spanish flu. The same one that gave out, what was that called?
Tuskegee.
Tuskegee.
Yeah. Syphilis.
How can we trust that? We can't. We can't trust them. All right, go ahead.
Though he humble himself and go crouching.
Right, they go humbling themselves. They humble themselves. They walk by and say, hey, how you doing? Or they have politicians that make all these promises. That's them humbling themselves. And they go crouching. Hey, how you doing? You know, nah, everything's good around you. You know, try to be nice
Kissing
to
the babies and everything.
Yeah, dogs too. Go ahead, brother.
And go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
Right, so the Lord said, take heed and beware of him. We got to know who our enemy is. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, the Lord said He's going to send us, put us in slavery under our enemy. All right? So that's our natural born enemy, Jacob and Esau. Somebody get that? 2 Ezra chapter 6.
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first in the beginning of it that followeth?
Right, that's why the Lord said 2/3 of our people, they're still walking according to the course of this world. The word course goes into age. So when is that age going to end from Esau ruling in the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire? We had the Byzantine Empire with Constantine for 1,000 years, all up until about 1266 AD. And then the Ottoman Turks came out. That's the Edomites again. And then you had, in the 1400s, you had Cesare Borgia, the Borgia family, known as the crime family. So from then you have what? The establishment of the EU. You had the establishment of NATO. Well, NATO first, then the EU, with the Treaty of Rome, when they came back together. And then you had America being established. Within that, all of them made a conglomerate. So when is that going to end? See that? When is that going to end, man? They own the record industry that we was talking about earlier. Is it going to go on forever? What shall be the parting asunder of those times, of those ages, those kingdoms? Go ahead.
Verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Whoa, we about to rule. So Esau is the end of the age. So that's what to look for. Not when the Persians were ruling, Cyrus the Great, you know, from 550 all the way up to really the 330, 335, 334 AD, when you get Alexander the Great, when he took down Darius III, that was the last Persian that was ruling. So they ruled, the Persian Empire ruled from 550 with Cyrus the Great all the way until then. So when we was in that kingdom, that wasn't it. The Lord said, when we gonna rule? I mean, the scriptures, you know, that's the question that Ezra was asking. When are we gonna rule? When we see Esau rule. When we see the brother of Jacob, our evil twin brother as a nation. When we see them ruling, we know that we're at their end. The red people, right? Ooh. And not all of our people are brown. Some of our people look like them. So we're not like Black Panthers, you know what I mean? All right, so that's the sign to look for, seeing them. But when we see their kingdom falling, the scriptures say what? When you see Satan divided against Satan, you know that their kingdom has an end. So they divided, ain't they? Look at Trump. Look at Biden. They want to lock Trump up. They're everybody fighting over it, right? It's so much divisions here. Look at all these different movements they got, LGBT, you know, whatever. It's all divided. Militias, everything's divided. Why? Because that's what happens in a falling community, failing economy. Everybody creates militias in different groups. So that's a divided kingdom. So the Lord said they got an end coming, but at their end is our rulership. It ain't nothing they can do about it. All right? So we stand out here in their face and we tell them to their face, and we tell our people to their face that you're greater than what you've been told. You're greater than what you're telling yourself about yourself. So we got to look at ourselves through heaven's eyes, right? Through the scriptures. All right, go ahead. Oh, that was it on that? All right, somebody grab Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 15.
This is Wisdom of Solomon.
Right, because the Lord said Esau has become wiser than Daniel. And Daniel was wiser than everybody, man. He was given pure wisdom. But Esau got science. They got this technology. They can look into your body, look into your cells, you know, peer into outer space, into the spirit realm, into a whole nother dimension. What they call that Hubble space scope, the new one they got.
James Webb.
Yeah, James Webb can see into a whole nother dimension. You know? So, you know, time goes out there. You know, the further you go, you deal with time. So they can see into a whole other time period. As far as distance. Go ahead, brother.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 15. Yahweh hath granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is meant for the things that are given me.
Right, that's Wisdom of Solomon, right? And now this is Solomon saying this. So Daniel was given that same understanding. All right, and Solomon was around from 970 to 931. And Daniel was later, you know, 627 to 538. That's when 536. That's when he died. When we came back into Israel. So Daniel had that same wisdom, but Esau has become wiser than that. See that? So a lot of people say that we're not going to understand these things. We're not going to know about atoms and cells, you know, molecular structures. But these are things upon Earth. We're going to know about this stuff. All right? There was an idiot out there that said we weren't going to know about these things before, and he has no light. Go ahead, brother.
All right, this is from Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 15. Yahweh hath granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as is meet for the things that are given me, because it is he that leadeth unto wisdom and directeth the wise.
Right. So these devils got all this wisdom, all this technology, and the Lord said they became wiser than Daniel. But who is it that led them to it? Our God. The Lord led them to it. You see that? So he can raise them up. Why? Let's get that real fast. We're gonna keep going with that precept. Revelation raised up Pharaoh.
Romans 11.
11?
No, 9.
It's 9?
Yeah.
Let's get that real quick. So the same reason he raised up these devils today is the same reason he raised up Pharaoh during the times of Moses. And we're gonna see why. And we're gonna make them extinct.
9 and 17. Romans 7, 9 and 17. Romans chapter 9, verse 17.
Right.
It says,
the messenger.
It says, for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Woo! So that's why the Lord raised up those Egyptians, those Hamites with Pharaoh. The same reason he raised up the Caucasian race, today the biblically known as Edomites. That's their biblical name. So he raised them up just so he could show his power on this earth. And in the last days, we'll be scattered all over the earth, giving the Most High praise from all over the earth today. That's why you got us waking up all over the earth, just like the grass pops up all over the earth. He promised this to Yahushua. He said, you shall get the dew of the morning. In the morning, you see the dew, the morning dew there. But you don't know how it got there. It's just there. The same thing with us. In the morning, when it's our kingdom, they're going to see the elect standing there. And they're going to say, how did this happen? How'd you wake up to the truth? Who are these dudes, man? Why y'all wearing them garments? What is that sword in your hand?
I got one.
We'll get all of them.
All right, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. Just going into how the elder was saying, the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua ruleth in the kingdom of men. He sets up who he wants to rule and who he wants to fall. It all goes according to the will of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. So, Esau, the so-called Caucasian race, they set up for a certain time period to rule, to oppress us, to afflict us, just like ancient Egypt and the pharaohs of Egypt. But their time of rulership is ending, man, according to the scriptures.
Right.
We in that time.
That's right. And that's what they're going to find out, that they are just men. The scripture said they try to play God, try to manipulate the weather, try to manipulate human beings now. They're going into something called the fourth industrial revolution. They had the first industrial revolution with when they found electricity in the 1700s. The second industrial revolution, I think, was with coal, when they started making trains, building warehouses and all that. And the third one was with satellite radar, and that's when you had the Spanish flu. The fourth is they're going into the body and they're trying to connect everybody to the internet. That's the fourth industrial revolution. But they don't change the environment, where they change the human body. So whoever went down there and got it, they have become property of Isaac, or Derner, all the different names. They have become property of them no more. Their birth certificate matters no more. Because the birth certificate is your artificial self. We know that. But it's a certificate saying I'm the human person. This is my fake me, all capital letters. So they want to connect that. So they can say, nah, you are the artificial person. We own you now. You're our property. All right, go ahead, read that.
It's the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reacheth to the clouds, yet shall he perish forever like his own dung. Right. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? Going into the the statement that the elder made earlier, how we're gonna be in the kingdom and get the dew of the morning. You see what I'm saying? These devils not gonna be in rulership no more when it comes down to it. But ultimately, the triumphing of the wicked is short. That these devils mount up to the heavens and they try to establish their space force. Yep. They try to basically exalt themselves above the stars of Yahweh Shem Yahushua being the elect, but they're gonna perish forever like their own dung.
Right, brother. They're gonna be what? Salty. They like walking billboards today, man. Everyone said they stink. Go ahead, brother.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 25, verse 26. For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called.
Right. Not people like Mike Tyson. Not people that got all the guns like the Black Panthers, Huey P. Newton. None of them were called into this work. You see that? The Lord said, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. So this is not about muscles or guns. It's all about what? The spirit. All right, go ahead.
Verse 27. But Yahweh have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise.
Right. What they call foolish, the Lord set us up to confound the wise people of the earth. All of the scholars, all of the school teachers, you know, the professors, the pastors, like Pastor Porkchop. What's his name? Creflo Steal Your Dollar, TD Fakes. You know, all these names we know. The Lord set us up to go against them. Right?
All right, it says
the average individual, your son, you know, your husband.
It says, but Yahweh had chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, when Yahweh have chosen the weak things of the world to confound them, that the things which are mighty.
Right, so we're the weak ones. That's why the Lord said, he said, we're like a worm, and a worm is helpless. All right, he said, fear not, thou worm Jacob, I will help thee. So we're the weak nation on the earth. They called us three-fifths of a man. You know, we're the weak nation. We don't have a spot on the UN, United Nations seat. We can't get our 40 acres and a mule. Even if we could, I wouldn't want it. I want the kingdom. I want it, because we get 40 acres and a mule, there's going to be a bunch of Egyptologists that try to move there with you. or family members.
Hola, ¿cómo están?
But when they get together, they put them on reservations and the land wasn't cultivated. You weren't able to have water, clean water. You weren't able to grow anything.
Yeah, the desert. They just moved out there to the deserts in the west.
Right. All right. Go ahead.
All right, verse 28. And the base things of the world and the things which are despised.
Right. We became the base thing. That's in Deuteronomy. That's a curse. The Lord said if we'd have listened to him as a nation, we'd have been the head and they would have been the tail. But he said, the Lord said since we didn't listen, we became the tail and they became the head. You see that? So now we became the base thing. Yeah? I'm gonna get that raise the beggar from the downhill.
1 Samuel 2 and 7. 2 and 8, all the way to 8.
Okay.
You want me to hold off?
No, go ahead, bro.
All right. This is verse 28. And the base things of the world and the things which are despised has Yahweh chosen, yea, the things which are not, to bring to naught the things which are.
Right, man. So the Lord gonna use us to bring these nations down. And it starts with this right here. This is where we make our stance. This is the beginning of the fight. But then it's gonna turn physical. The same ones that's out here teaching, being fishers, the Lord gonna turn them into hunters. And we're gonna hunt these damn people. We're gonna hunt these gangbangers. You know? So they're gonna be hunted in that day when there's no more economy, when there's no more police in order together. When there's no system, that's when they're gonna be off, you know, what do you call that?
Wild West.
Chaos. Chaos, but what's that movie called?
Mad.
The Purge, Hunger Games. Oh yeah. We're gonna need the Lord's help in that day. If not, we'll burn out and die out fast. You know, so much against us in this society. You know, you be fighting the LGBT and the what's all it?
All right, I got one more verse. Verse 29. That no flesh should glory in his presence. So ain't nobody gonna be able to say, ain't nobody gonna see it, like, we're not gonna be able to do it off mic. We're gonna be the only way we're gonna do it is off the strength of the Lord. So nobody will stick their chest out and say they did it.
Right,
the Lord did it. That's the only way. He put us in a position where we're gonna have to hope our way out of it.
Right.
That's it. Hope in his glory and hope in his might.
Yeah. He said, blessed are those that wait for him, man.
Huh.
That's what we're waiting for, man. Get that power. But we already got it. We already got a jewel, a token of the power by having his wisdom. To fight Esau's main weapon, which is deception. You know, taking them down is nothing. But we got the main blessing, the main source of spiritual power to be able to heal our brothers, to be able to heal our people and bring them back from the dead, meaning spiritually dead. You know, that's power right there. You know, and yeah. That's right.
Yeah, backing up the owner.
Thanks a lot, brother. Good to see you, man.
Okay, shalom, shalom. This is Proverbs 1 and 20 all the way to 22. Wisdom cry without. She uttered her voice in the street. She cried in the chief place of conquerors. In the opening of the gate in the city, she uttered her word.
Right, wisdom is crying out to our people. in the openings of the gates, in the streets, in the city, where our people gather at. You know, where people come and go. And we've been all over the city, so, you know, we ended up here, it's more peaceful. You know, we get to teach, not be disturbed, you know what I mean? So we done had rocks and boulders thrown at us. We done had people threatening us with guns. We done had scoffers, people come in our face that were demons. You know, we had police called on us. It's kind of like a break.
I saw a couple episodes. I saw it.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah. I saw one where it was kind of.
It depends on who you're watching, though. We Lions then.
No, it
was us? Oh, y'all know about it. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
One more verse. Yeah, Proverbs 1 and 22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge.
Right. You want to speak on it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, because our people prefer despite the word of God, and they despise knowledge. And you know, the knowledge that we get, you know, is gonna be you know, our weapon, you know, in the day of judgment. Right. You know, so right. You know, you keep your faith and your belief. You know, that's gonna be the reward. You know, when those times come. You know, right. Yep. To look better, to look great in front of our Father, Jehovah Hashem, Jehovah Shai.
Yep. It's just like who was that Floyd Mayweather fighting? He walked up to him with his hands down. He headbutted him.
Oh, the Mexican. He was.
Yeah. No, I forgot his name. El Cotto. El Cotto. No, whoever that was, he headbutted him. Then he walked up to Floyd with his hands down. And then Floyd two-pieced him.
Oh, that was Issachar. That was Issachar. Yeah.
He knocked him out. Knocked him out after that.
Right. That's like two-thirds of our people. They're in a fight whether they like it or not. Yeah. You know, Esau swinging. He's swinging. He's swinging hard. He's killing our people. You know, depopulation. But our people don't know how to fight back. You know, they don't know that they're in a fight. They've crossed down like an old lion. They've got comfortable here, especially since the civil rights movement.
Yeah, we shall overcome. Peaceful protest, saying that just don't fight back.
Yeah, hold hands, keep marching since the Exodus.
And, you know, and that's the kind of the spirit that Jake had coming back from with Laban. When he came back, he offered Esau a series of gifts, but that still wasn't going to stop the hatred that Esau had towards his brother, because it wasn't just because of the blessing, because he had the hatred from the womb. So no matter how much our people. Like the scripture said, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, man. Because they're going to continue to be wicked and persecute our people. So they're trying to hold hands with this devil and thinking that he gonna calm down. Eventually, they're never going to calm down. The reason why they're not acting like they were acting in those days right there is because the system does it for them. They ain't got to show their true hatred. Because the system that's set up does everything they needed to do. So they don't have to have that chip on their shoulder where they got to call us the N-word everywhere we go, because guess what? This system does everything that they physically wanted to do back in those times. The system does it right now.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against our people and consulted against our hidden ones.
Right, that's why they got something called secret society. That's crafty counsel. All right, go ahead.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right, that's what the scripture said. They have cut off many people and consulted shame to their house. And see, part of that was them cutting us off as a nation, hiding it in their history books, telling us about Christopher Columbus instead of teaching us about Solomon, teaching us about King David. You know, instead they rather teach us about us being slaves. That's why I respect what Kanye was saying. Kanye bugged out, but he was saying some real stuff when he said we shouldn't focus on being slaves, we should be focused on being kings. If we remember that we were kings, we would be operating differently, not looking to this system for help. I get him with that. He makes sense. But they only teach us that we're slaves, so we like, help. Help, you need something. You owe us.
Just add on to that, on how they taught us in secular history in school. They taught us about Alexander, but they labeled him to be great. Alexander the Great, not Alexander the Greek, just being an example, like going into Maccabees and how he colonized nations, how he was like one of the first pillagers, and they took that template off of him on how to rape, rob, and murder.
Right. But he was the only one of their kind that they could put as the forefront without whitewashing. That was the beginning of their establishment of their rulership on earth. So that's why they consider him great, because even though he took over what they've known as a known world at that time, but you had individuals that took over more than what he did, like Attila the Hun. When he was pushing towards the west, he conquered more and settled more places than Alexander did. But they call him great because he was the first one physically from their bloodline that they could say had established his own earth. So they're going to consider him great without them having to whitewash him.
That was Attila the Hun. That was the breakdown of the Roman Empire during the Phoenician Wars. All right, so let's get to a precept. Right, let's get all of them real quick, and then we're gonna get back to the left.
This is First Timothy.
Yeah, real quick.
All right, this is the book of First No, this is the book of what is it? This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, and the verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
Right, this is when the Greek Empire was taking us down. This happened around 168 BC. And at that time, even at that time, they went out of Israel wicked people. I mean, amongst our people, they were wicked. They call themselves, today, those same ones call themselves American, or black, or African, or I'm a Christian, or I'm a Muslim. Fraternity, yeah, Greek. I'm a Greek. Egyptology. They're all the same ones. It's all paganism, right?
In those days, when that wicked man who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Right. These same ones today. Like these church pastors. You know, they say, come and make a covenant. There go one right there. That's a church pastor too. IUIC. What's his name? Al Sharpton. All these people saying Jesse Jackass. Right? Stole the Rainbow Coalition movement. That was originally the Puerto Ricans and the so-called Negroes in the revolution. They stole that, you know? So all these people, man, look at TD Fakes, man. You know, he a swindler, boy. He looks like he'll steal your money. He turns you back. Even though you're rich. See that $10 that was sitting here, man?
That was mine.
That's mine. All right, where we at? Where we at?
Ahora, ¿cómo están?
All right, go ahead, bro. You got one too?
This is First Timothy, chapter 6, verse 20. And this is going into their philosophies and their science and stuff. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust. Avoid profane and vain babblings and oppositions of science, falsely so called, which some professing have erred concerning the faith. And people and these heathens and people, and 2/3 of our people are so delusioned. They believe in science more so than the Lord.
Right.
You know, and what's even crazy, what's beautiful is the scriptures have the water cycle in it. I'll get it later, but the scriptures have the entire water cycle. And so everything that they study and they don't give credit unto the Lord, that's just them studying the Lord's creations. They can't do anything that the Lord, they can't create anything that the Lord has created. They can only study it.
They try to copy it. Yeah, I mean, often imitate it, never duplicate it. You know? And science, you know, another word for knowledge. But the Lord said what? Their science is called science, falsely so called, because it's not real knowledge. It's worldly wisdom. It's vanity. And what did Fauci say? Fauci said we're going to trust science. See that? So the Lord said we're not supposed to lean upon science. We're supposed to lean upon him, the spirit. All right, we got to how you doing, sister?
And that science has them cloud seeding, spreading all those chemicals in the air, messing everybody up, messing the world up.
Yep, cloud seeding, yep. Adding molecules to the cloud, creating atmospheric rivers. That's why it's flooding over there in California and flooding over here on the East Coast. So they can fight against the drought that the Lord bringing on this place. All right? Precept? Yeah, let's finish this real quick. The pagan. Yeah. All right, let them get this real quick. You got it? Okay.
All right. This is back at the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1. I'm going to start at the top again of verse 11. In those days went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
Right, they made a covenant with these devils, man, these Edomites. And that's why when Yahushua was on the scene around 4 BCE to about 37 AD, when they killed him during the times of Caligula, they hung our king on a cross. You know, that was the judgment back then. Like they have the death penalty today with the needle, you know, lethal injection. Or they used to have the firing squad in the Roman Empire. They would cut down a bunch of trees, giant oak trees or whatever, and have you carry your own cross until they hang you on it. You know what I mean? And that's what they did to our king, Yahushua. All right?
The term bear your own cross. Bear your own.
That's where it comes from, yeah. But and now today, when the Lord said bear your cross, in the church they teach you to wear a cross on your neck. To bear your cross means to do this right here. It means to bear your suffering and carry it all the way to the kingdom. All right, go ahead.
That are round about us, for since we departed from them, we had much sorrow.
Right, so that's why when the Lord was on the scene around that time, he had to teach them, because a lot of them were Greeks. That's why he woke up Paul. You know, first he started with the foundation, and then he started with Peter, who was also King David in reincarnation. But then he set up the teaching to the Gentiles. The Gentiles is two forms. You know, you got the heathen Gentiles, and then you got Israelites that became pagans. They became Gentiles. You see that? So they became foreigners. So now the Lord, during that time, he had to wake up the Greeks and, you know, the Romans, the Israelites, because they became pagan right here. Going back to Antiochus Epiphanes in 168 BC. So even to this day, they following at the ways of these devils, going down to Egypt for help, taking on their customs of science, man. All right. Go ahead. Somebody preach it?
I got one. Right, go ahead. Okay. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
There you go.
And that's ultimately what's going on now, like the elder and the brother speaking on not only just the weather, but the laws in itself, basically them trying to cover up their iniquity with taking the structure out of the schools as far as teaching what they was taught, critical race theory, so on and so forth, trying to hide their evil doings. But in verse 26, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Ultimately, just showing the power of our Lord, man, just going back in the times of Daniel and how the Lord gave these visions to the past kings, just like the past scriptures that was brought out of Daniel 4 and 17, the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. He giveth to whoever so he will, just letting the whole earth know and man know themselves that the Lord has always been in control and never took a break, never paused, man. And he ruled not only what's going on here in the neck of our enemy in America, where the majority of our people here is being oppressed, but throughout four corners of the earth to the other kings and rulers like Putin, all right, and so on and so forth.
Right, man. All right, so that's what the Lord said. He appointed their bounds that they cannot pass. So there's only a certain limit that Esau can do to us, and a certain limit where Esau has the rule. All right, go ahead, preacher.
This is Romans 9 and 22.
Right, they probably gonna get loud over there.
What if Yahweh willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory. So I'm bringing that out just to say he can let Esau build all his weaponry up, everything he think he can do to come against the Lord. So then he gonna flex on with his right hand. Yeah, our Savior Yahweh Shai gonna come back and ain't gonna take nothing but an hour. And another point in this, it's a vessel that's fitted for destruction.
And that's the wicked, along with 2/3 of our people as well. They ain't gonna never get it and come back to it. And they fit it for destruction. And he also want to make known the mercies and the gifts that he's gonna give to those that chose him.
Right. And when we that example, putting our body as a living sacrifice, and teaching, right? The vessels of mercy.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 11 and verse 25. At that time, Yahushua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent and hast revealed them unto babes. And the reason why I brought that precept out, you know, at the back of the statement that the bishop made, you know, how the Lord have only given his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to certain elect men on this earth. You know, he haven't given his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to the wise and prudent people like, you know what I'm saying, Floyd Money Mayweather, which they know that they're Israelites, but they can't come out and speak because they're gonna lose everything.
Yeah, he ain't give it to Esau either. Come on. Yeah, they got their wise men. He ain't give it to none of them. That's right, man. He ain't give it to the Dalai Lama either. I know y'all heard about that.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You got to go 5.
All right, Kyle, I got something.
Real quick, go ahead, okay? You gotta be nice and loud.
God, this is the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 10. Who giveth rain upon the earth and sendeth waters upon the fields, to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
Oh, you gotta break it down.
Time, man. Just going back to the to the elders' lesson, and as well, because the Lord is in control of all of that. But you also have Esau trying to bring about his own agenda, but the Lord is going to cut that short. He's not going to be able to push that agenda 100%, because the Lord is going to come in with that divine intervention. And Revelations 19, he's gonna reap those out the earth.
Right, man. Yep. He said that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And you go to that word hand, it represents power. He said that they're going to lose that power that they have. They're not going to perform that new world order that they're trying to get. All right, the old world order was the dollar. They're trying to bring in a new world order with digital currency. All right, and with digital currency, they say money is gold is king. All right, if you have a dollar, that's power. Well, if they put it in digital currency, they can control everything. Everybody loses all their power and their spending power here in America. And they're gonna make it so, say when you had $100, if you don't use that $100 by the end of the month, they're gonna take it from you. So what's that? Slavery. So now you gotta try to hurry up and spend that money and go back to work on their new credit system that's gonna be based off the carbon that you breathe. It's gonna be called a carbon tax. Remember we said it? It's gonna be called a carbon tax. They're gonna try to tax us for breathing. Crazy, right?
And I heard they could decide what you buy.
They decide what you buy.
With that currency.
That's right.
You can buy whatever you want.
And where you buy it.
Yeah.
You might want to buy it in another city, but they're gonna say, nah, you're gonna use it in this county. Woo! They about to shut things down. These people are gonna go crazy. And that's when you're gonna have 2 Ezra 15. Where it's gonna be sedition among men. Sedition goes into riots and people raising up against the government. Yes, go ahead, brother. Oh, you gotta back up. Yeah.
This is just back up, brother recall, as far as the Lord disappointing the devices of the crafty. This is Micah chapter 2, verse 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. So woe means destruction, woe means judgment. Because why? Because they devise iniquity. Iniquity is immoral living or going contrary to what's right and what's true. And they work evil upon their beds, meaning they come up with things. They hide behind closed doors. And they make these plans to affect the people, mainly the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. Because that is really what this is for, to eradicate the Israelites off the earth. But the Lord ain't gonna let that happen. And they do this when the morning is light, because it is in their power, and they practice it because right now they have power in the earth because the Heavenly Father gave it to them so they can do it. This is verse 2. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even the man and his heritage. So they covet fields. They take what doesn't belong to them. They come up with plans. They come up with their magical paperwork to steal whatever it is or whatever resources they want out from among whatever racial demographic of people that they feel like has something. They're taken by violence if necessary. Look at all the wars in the earth. Look at what's going over there in the east right now.
Look at smallpox.
Look at smallpox. Look at all the diseases that they engineer.
Right, you say that, they know it's done.
God. And they'll oppress a man. They'll come in another grown man's house and oppress him and his family in his household.
Esau said, I accept that.
Read the last little bit.
Oppress a man, even his heritage. They'll even take away a man's inheritance. They'll take away a man's nationality. They're that wicked, they're that evil, and they're that greedy. I got one more.
They'll take the children.
God.
That's what they're coming for. They're trying to take our children.
And that's what Rome was known for.
That's why you see on the cartoons on TV. You'll see on the cartoons on TV, you'll see little sodomite stuff. Or a boy that look like a girl, or a girl with a girl. You know, or demonic stuff now. A lot of these cartoons be dark and demonic, man. And my children just cut it off. They can't watch it. You know, so shield your children from that too. They scary, all these scary movies. That's nothing but Esau's nightmares that they have. And then they come and they got the money, so they make movies on it and we watch it. But then our children start having nightmares.
Yeah, and that stuff get in your spirit.
They get in your soul, that's right.
God. Verse 3, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which he shall not remove your necks.
Right. So the Lord has devised an evil against them, and they're not going to be able to remove their neck from this spiritual guillotine that the Lord got.
It says, from which ye shall not be able to remove your necks, neither shall they go heartily, for this time is evil. So the Lord ain't gonna allow these mother helpers to keep walking around with their haughtiness and their wickedness. The Lord then put them in the headlock and they ain't getting out. You know, just like fighting, you run across somebody that know how to fight and they wrap you in their headlock, you stuck until they decide to let you go. And that's the same thing the Heavenly Father got for these cave dwellers, these Edomites. The Lord done put them in the headlock, but say the thing, the Lord ain't gonna let them go. He gonna let them go after it's time for them to go.
Yeah, he gonna dog walk them all to their judgment. Go ahead, brothers.
This is the book of Isaiah 66:4. I also will choose their delusion and will bring their fears upon them. Because when I call, none did answer. When I speak, they did not hear. But they did evil before my eyes and choose that in which I delighted not. You know, and the reason that I bring this scripture, because this is going straight to our people. They prefer to go to the left side, to unrighteous things. Why you do? You follow what this freaking wicked made. Like for example, you don't go to the beach and take the natural sun. No, you prefer to go to a machine and give you radiation to your body. Why you prefer go to ISO and this woman put silicones and put pots and stuff like that because you follow ISO shit, you know, instead of follow, you know, the righteous side, the right side of Jehovah Hashem, Yahweh Shai. It's simple like that. You know, the wicked create delusion, create confusion, create everything. And what you do? Blind, you blind.
Right, brother. A left-minded way of thinking. That's what 2/3 of our people got, a left-minded way of thinking. All right. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, but you can go 2 precepts quick.
Psalms chapter 50 and verse 16. But unto the wicked Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee? And it's ultimately speaking on what Esau, the wicked, himself. All right, but 2/3 of our people, they cling on to his ways, like the brothers are saying, like the Akim is saying. All right, so what is thou to do to declare the Lord's statutes, man? Not a damn thing. You know, you're not going to be able to fulfill and please the Lord, because the Lord has given you up to that vile affection, man, for the devil to do whatever he wants to do with you, man. That silver cord ultimately being loose.
This is the book of Job, chapter 20, verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
Right, these devils got their whole table made. They got the table set up. They got the food set, which is the bait. They got the knives and forks ready, which is the martial law. You know, they got the missiles ready. Hey, shalom to y'all, man.
Shalom.
That was a great thing you did, brother.
What's that?
Getting your family to be here.
I won't be the last.
We'll finish watching it online.
All right, so hey,
Watch
shalom.
every week just to let you know.
That's a blessing, man.
Shalom.
All right, thank you too. Same to you, brother.
Shalom.
What was I saying?
Fork and knife.
Fill his belly.
Right, man, because they got the whole table set, but then they're going to go to fill their belly. That's why you hear people like Klaus Schwab saying the New World Order is going to come in like a flood. The next thing may be a cyber attack, you know? Going to be blackouts. See, they ready to fill their belly. They ready to lock it down. They want to get their New World Order, you know? But the Lord got things in front of them that they can't get past. Go ahead, bro. Oh, that was it? But the Lord said, what? When they're about to fill their belly, that's when the Lord gonna rain fire upon these devils and bring that judgment. All right? Go ahead, bro. Yep.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, starting at verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Right, so this fast, when they fall, it's gonna be fast, you know? Go ahead.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Right, so that's what they did. They started ruling over there in Europe, and they even built something over here in the sides of the north, which is America, North America. All right, but they want to exalt themselves all the way up into the clouds. They want to be God. See that? Go ahead.
Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, and opened not the houses of his prisoners? And Khan, that's just what it's gonna be, man. They're gonna be brought down to the pit, to slavery. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna have nothing, man. And they're gonna be sorry when it's all said and done. And it says
right, they don't open the house of their prisoners because they make money off all the prisoners. That's what they call it, a bond. You know, your birth certificate. Your birth certificate is worth millions of dollars in fractional reserve currency. It's just not in dollars. So the more they put us in jail, especially our people, the more money they make, like keeping a trophy or a stock in a certain investment for a long time. You remove that stock, it loses value. You keep that stock in place in a drawer, nice and safe, and then they pull that stock out and they trade it to the insurance. They sell it to the insurance. That's why they say you got to pay your bond. And the bond is something that's traded. So they make money off of us being in jail. They make money off our paycheck. They make more money. If you had $500 in your paycheck, they make $10,000 off of it. Because they hold all our paychecks. When we go to the bank and you cash it in, you sign it with your human signature, and you give it to them, they put it in a stack full of other paychecks, and they let it gain interest. And then you think they send it off right away, but they let it sit there for like a month. Then they take that and sell it to the insurance as a promise to pay. And then they get $10,000 or so for that, man. Now us, we get $500.
And they trade your money at night.
They trade your money at night, yeah.
You don't even know they trade your money at night.
Yeah, and they trade us.
You got state-owned prisons that the state gets money off of us. You have privately owned prisons where like a private individual or private company gets paid off. Like Michael Jordan, yeah. Michael Jordan, he got his own prison. He either owns one or he has like a part ownership.
Right. See, the Lord was merciful, man. He just put somebody to death. See that Esau want to keep you there in purgatory. That's what purgatory at right here on the earth. All right, that's what Esau. The Lord said He don't open the house of His prisoners. They make money off of them. All right.
It's crazy that people are still locked up for a law that is legal now.
Well, I thought crime has to have a victim.
Yeah.
We got people locked up for victimless crime doing years, tax fraud.
Right, and then you got this the wolf protecting the wolf.
Gone. Oh,
Yeah, they protect their own. Well, they're the real criminals, crimson, red devils with red on their hands.
It's like you said before, this prison planet, like I was talking to the brother Knock the other day, they basically set it up where you basically under supervision of Esau from birth to death, you know, and you start off from going to school. It's nothing different from the school. You get on the bus, you can't leave when you want to. You didn't get to high school, same thing. College, then you teach you how to work. Then when you get old and decrepit, shit, you're in the nursing home. Another place where you can't go and you're going to do what you're told to do when it's time to do.
and then by our parents being part of the system, our parents become the wardens. They're enforcing the laws of Esau. Therefore, we're forcing our children to go to these school systems to learn their curriculum. And guess what? They don't do their homework. We put them on punishment in another prison within inside the household, forces them to conform to the system.
And the schools is training to be factory workers.
Right.
And if a child doesn't go to a public school, or if a child doesn't go to school, the parents go to jail. So they force the parents to force their kids to go to school.
But and little do they know, our parents are so embedded into them system, like they got, even DeSantos just passed another one, where if you want to homeschool your children, they'll pay you for it. The state will pay you for it. But our parents, in their mind, they feel like they need to go to work and get a job. They feel like they forcing themselves into the system, so they're gonna force their children to the same system.
Yeah, there's different ways out of this system right now. You know, you can start a business. You know, you got all kind of apps you can do now. You know, and even the homeschooling now, man. So there's ways to pull away from the system a little bit now.
That's if you want to pull away. It takes faith to pull away.
Pull away. That don't mean you're getting away.
Right.
We can pull all we want. We still got to spend their money.
The best way to pull away from the system, though, is just reading the scriptures and believing in the Lord.
There you go. Yep. Get our mind out of this place.
Yeah.
So when this place falls, we don't fall with it. You know. So somebody grab Wisdom of Solomon 6:1. Right, because the scripture said Esau was wiser than Daniel, and through that wisdom, the same way Solomon had knowledge of the elements and the workings of the earth and the changing, you know, and the can you get that real quick? Wisdom of Solomon 7 again.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they said Esau was wiser than Daniel, but it said Yahweh leads them in their wisdom, in that worldly wisdom. What does it say? He set the world in their heart so that man could not find out his way.
Want to get it?
Yeah, anything. Yeah, let's get it all.
This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7, verse 16. This is, for in his hand are both we and our words.
Right, so even in the Most High's hands are us and our words. So Esau and their words are in the hands of the Most High. So what do we have to really fear? All right, go ahead.
It says all wisdom also and knowledge of workmanship.
Yep.
For he.
So knowledge of creation. All right, so that's in the hands of the Most High. There's more things that happen than we could know. Meaning from the beginning of creation, he only let us know what we need to know on this earth. You know, it couldn't be written in the book. It couldn't be written in the book. But we're gonna know it in the kingdom. In the kingdom, we're gonna know everything. But right now, we said we've been given an unction, and we know all things really according to His will. All right, but we don't know everything yet. I don't know, you know, certain algebra. You know, we don't know everything.
It says, "For He hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made."
Whoa! So he showed King Solomon how the world was created. You see that? He showed that to Daniel too. So Esau has become wiser and has tried to figure all this stuff out. Go ahead.
It says, and the operation of the element.
Right. So that's why you got things like the hydrogen collider. where they trying to
CERN.
CERN, where they try to collide two atoms, two elements, and create what they call the Big Bang, which is a lie. So they, they call themselves trying to look into another dimension.
They had CERN on the news in the video.
Yeah.
They're doing devil worship rituals outside.
Thank you. Yep. Was that Kali?
Yeah.
Kali.
And just talking about the spiritual and just how the elder and brothers was going into how like what our kids be access to, like the movies and just the spirituality and having that covering that we were speaking on. You think of the demographics of Chicago being how it's in the middle of Babylon the Great, this modern day Babylon, America, and how Chicago had that whole gang culture and black on black crime, how they have a thrill on killing each other like it's some type of game, and they keep score on it and things of that nature, and all that leads on the environment. It just puts, and it's gonna lead into what? Chaos, because this devil, the Chaldeans, all right, he deals in sorcery, man. He deals in great wickedness on the left-hand side.
It had got so bad, like the gangs, they had started filming themselves shooting at the opposing gangs, not to like be like, oh, we shot at y'all, post on something, but they did it so where they can go back and watch it and be like, oh, I should have did this, kind of like gameplay, game footage.
Like it's not just highlight footage.
Yeah, so they can get better and being wicked, and be getting better at killing their brothers.
One more. It's another precept. Go ahead, brother. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2 and verse 29. Just speaking on that knowledge and wisdom and how the Lord deal with certain men. All right, and this is Daniel 2 and 29. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came in thy mind upon thy bed, which should come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. And this is Daniel breaking down the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had. All right, king of Babylon, who was a successor of his father, Nebuchadnezzar, who took it, all right, and created a Neo-Babylonian empire from the Assyrians, whom they were Assyrians as well.
Yep, he got this vision. Daniel went into Babylon around 606 or 605 during the Battle of Carchemish, and then he had this vision around 602 of the statue.
And this verse 30. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living. Right. And that's just the point. Not anymore that I have more wisdom than any living, even though he did, and the Lord was dealing with him. But it was not for him to boast and brag, but for him to relate a message, man. Right. Like they say, don't kill the messenger, don't shoot the messenger. For him to do the work of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai.
Right. Great power comes great responsibility.
But for their sakes, that shall make known the interpretation to the king, that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart, man. Because the Lord have certain men in place to interpret certain things. All right, especially in the times that we're in now, when all hell is getting ready to break loose. All right, you have to find out about Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, because the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the Holy Bible. And them the names that you're going to need, man. The Heavenly Father name is Yahweh, and the Son named Yahweh Shai, man. And they got certain men, all right, certain camp, like elders, all right, that's set up to break these visions and these prophecies down and put them into perspective to where babes like ourselves can teach man so we can get the hell up out of here. Right. But then just the point going back into how Daniel was an enlightened man, just referencing what the elder was speaking on.
God, man. Yep. And the scripture says Esau has become wiser than Daniel, but who led him to that wisdom? See that? Yeah, we had the wisdom and the knowledge of the elements and the atoms, but we didn't call it atoms. We called it something else in the Hebrew. All right. Go ahead, whoever reading.
This is Ecclesiastes. Oh, you want world in their hearts?
Yeah, look at that.
This is Ecclesiastes 3 and 11. He has made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he has set the word on their hearts, so that no man can find out the work that Yahweh maketh from the beginning to the end.
Right. See, I did lessons on it years ago. But I was trying to say that Esau is trying to find the Lord carnally. They're trying to go out there and see who's out there. They can't even get past the exosphere and the Van Halen belt. They can't get past it. Maybe the technology, but they're trying to get out there and see the Lord physically, just like the Tower of Babel. See, but the Lord blessed us to see the Lord just by looking at what? In the mirror and looking into the book. You know, he said the kingdom of heaven is within you. You want to see the Lord, look in your own eye. You know? So we can look at each other and see the Lord. Right? So the Lord blessed us to find, he said, nah, you ain't got to find me, I'm going to find you. He said, rather that you are, not that you chose the Lord, but rather that you are chosen of the Lord. So the Lord found us. He said, where his sheep was scattered, he was going to come find us. Right? So we ain't had to go find him. He found us. But Esau's still looking. They're doing everything, man. They're trying to go into the body, out of space. Under the water. Under the water. Yeah, man. The Lord got this whole universe around him.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 13:1. Surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of Yahweh and cannot out of the good things that are seen know him that is, neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the work master.
Right, even George Washington Carver. I was telling the brother about it the other day. George Washington Carver, he knew that he was an Israelite. And he knew about the Israelites marching out of Egypt. He knew he was one of them. And he asked the Lord for one blessing that would help his people. And he asked the Lord for one blessing. And the Lord said, I'm gonna give you one, but it's gonna be the peanut. He literally said this. He said the Lord was dealing with him. And he walked by this river one day out in the woods, George Washington Carver. And he said when he got there to the river, he said he had a revelation, an epiphany. That everything looked like when you walk into somebody's house and they make everything up for you, the couch and everything, like for visitors. He said that's how the earth looked to him. Like somebody set it up nice and neat and perfect, you know, for us. So he knew there had to be a God that existed. You see that? And he said he asked the Lord for one blessing, and that blessing he gave him was the peanut. And he said, I'm gonna give you this one small thing that's gonna do many things. And now you got the peanut in everything that we deal with today.
Kind of like 100 inventions or something.
More than that. Today it's in everything. It's in everything. You got a grain of it in everything. That's what I always put alert allergies. Thanks to George Washington Carver and the Lord blessing him. But he knew he was an Israelite. But he also knew of God just by looking at the things around him. See that Esau looked at the things around him and he wanted to destroy it. Or he wanted to find a way to make money off of it or copy it. Just like he did with medicine. He'll find a plant and then he'll go create a copy of it with chemicals.
And tell you don't touch that plant.
Weaker
No more.
version.
Right.
Like weeds.
Right.
It's good.
So you can't copyright the earth. You can't patent the earth, so he can patent what they make, the artificial stuff.
Good, bro. It's the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 20. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were they thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened.
Right. They feeling on the wall, can't get past it, so they start using their imagination on what's on the other side. You see that? Out in the fourth dimension. That's where the Lord is at, in the spirit world. So they start to use their imagination and start creating shit, like idols to worship. And our people follow after that. All right, let's get back to the point real quick too. Wisdom of Solomon.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. I'm stop back in verse 17.
Good, bro.
It says, for he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements.
Right, and Esau didn't find this in their backyard. They found it because of the money they got and the resources they can pull together and all the scientists and the allegiance that they have so they can pass knowledge all over the world. That's why the Lord said when knowledge is increased, and it really started increasing with the ships. Like with Alexander, the ships would take one library or whatever, and they'd conquer a nation. They'd take all their literature, and they'd carry it over to another, back with them. So knowledge started increasing really through the ships, and then it started increasing now through what? The internet. Really increasing now through the telecommunication. All right. So the more people come in contact with each other, the faster the information is moving. You know. All right. Precept.
Right. This is Job chapter 26, verse 7. It says, he stretches out the north over the empty place and hangeth the earth upon nothing.
Right. So the North Pole, the Lord set the cold, the north, over an empty place, man, the Arctic. And he hung the earth on nothing. That's called the earth's orbit. And it doesn't move out of that orbit. And it's on nothing out in the Shemayim. But they call the satin sheet, which is really what they call, what do you call it? The element out there?
Hydrogen. Hydrogen.
Hydrogen. You got hydrogen and you got negative and positive hydrogen together. Those two together, they can't bond, so it makes fluidity. You see that? That's the way Esau looks at it from a scientist thing. But we know it's the Lord creating what you would call waters or Shemayim. All right, and then he, then he ionizes those elements, hydrogen. Ionization meaning to take or add away from, add to or take away from an element. So that the Lord ionizes those elements out there through the firmament, which has 7 layers. And it breaks it down to the troposphere, which is the lowest one, where dust is and we get storms, you know? And he ionizes it to give us what? Oxygen, which is another form of those same waters. And then he manipulates the water even more so we can drink it. And we're drinking the same waters from the flood. That same water that was out in the flood, when the Lord opened the windows of heaven, that's water from the Shemayim. It never left out of the earth. That process still going on this earth. And Esau want to manipulate that. You see that? But they ain't created though, but they want to manipulate it. Go ahead.
Exactly. And even they want to say, they continue to say that the earth is flat.
Yeah. That's science.
But that scripture, them saying that that scripture that says the earth hangs on nothing, that also lets us know that knowledge was given unto our people back then. And that there's nothing new under the sun. They think that, they found the Earth's orbit and it rotates at this, and they proclaim themselves as gods using science to just like over explain a whole bunch of shit. But really, all it is just the power of the Yahweh Shem Yahshai, just the power of the Lord. Right. That's all that really is.
Yep. They set up science to denounce God. Science is the study of things that move. Something moves, they try to see how it moves.
Right.
That's about it, and where it's going.
And then you're like, well, what? And then when you ask the scientists, well, how was this made? How was this created? This whole explanation that you give, and they're like, oh, it just came out of nowhere.
Right. Solomon knew these things. Go ahead.
Back at verse 17 of Solomon chapter 7. For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements.
There you go. The elements. You see that? Elements, man. That's what today they call atoms, nuclei and things like that. But they're really the elements. Go ahead.
It says the beginning, ending, and midst of the times, the alterations of the turning of the sun and the change of seasons, the circuits of years and the position of stars, the natures of living creatures and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds and the reasonings of men, the diversities of plants and the virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know.
Woo! So he's blessed us to know all these things. So now he allowed Esau to know it too. But we knew it through the spirit, through the right-hand side. Esau knows it through the left-hand side. All right? Look at Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 17. See, all these things are in the Bible. Elements, matter, He even says matter in the Bible. Let's get that.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11 and verse 17.
Right, because you got the spirit world, the fourth dimension, which is also the third heaven spoken of by Paul. And then you got the elements that he spoke of on a level that we can't see, the atoms, and then you got the world of matter that we can see. Let's get it. Go ahead, brother.
In this Wisdom of Solomon 11 and 17, for thy almighty hand that made the world of matter.
Whoa, he made the world of matter. You see that? Matter. What is that? An accumulation of cells that equal up to something called iron, that equal up to something called flesh. that's never really put together. It's just being held together. You know, and embodying the spirit. Being able to stand up because we got bones in this flesh. This is a suit. You know, your spirit is who you are. Right? This is a suit, man. It's a brain with operating with eyes that can only see certain colors. The plants are all kind of multicolored, but the only one that stands out to us is what? Green. Only one you can see in the sky is blue. Because of they call it fractionalization. That's when the white light. You can do this on your table at home. We done it when we was younger. You take white light and you put a glass in front of it. It creates a what? A rainbow on the table. So the same thing today. The Lord created a prism. That's what it's called. A glass, a prism. It's called the firmament, and it scatters the light. See that? So that light from white light, which is the sun. If you was out on the moon, what color would the sun be? Pure white. So what was the light he created in the beginning? The sun. So from that white light, it hits the firmament and it scatters. That's why you in the evening, as it's moving, as the earth moving, you see blue right now. But the sky ain't blue, it's black out there. But when the sun going down, you begin to see red because the light of a rainbow is moving past your eyes. You might have blue here, green here, red here. And it's moving past our eyes. Now we see red, now we see yellow. Then you see nothing. It's dark. So the sky is really dark out there. So who's in control of everything? Yahweh, man. He got, even our eyes, you can't even see past that. But they want to play God.
Even if you have, like, your vision is blurred, you can't see. That's because the lenses on your eyes are messed up. So what do? And they give you glasses that bend the light a certain way to conform to the discrepancy you have in your lens, and that way you can see.
Yeah, just a suit.
That's it.
All right, good, bro.
This is Genesis chapter 1, verse 31. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning was the 6th day.
Right. Yep. So on the 6th day, what do you mean by day? Meaning 1,000 years. So he'll create something like the firmament, and then he'll watch it for 1,000 years, and then he'll create the next thing. So when he say day 1, and then the evening and the morning was the first day, that's for us. You know, sun up, sun down, but then 1,000 years is what? A day to the Lord. Starting with one of our days, you know, day 1, and then 1,000 more of those, that's a day to him. So he'll get the ball rolling with one day to us, and then 1,000 years of that, he'll let it sit. And then he create the firmament. And then he did it again, you know? Create the plants on the earth, 1,000 years, let that grow. So he had 1,000 years of all the plants growing and repopulating. It's still here. If we get out of the way, especially with Esau, once they get moved out of the way with all the concrete and the harvesting, the plants gonna continue to do that. So with or without us, you know? Most High created that. He watched it and saw that it was good, man. Just like George Washington Carver, he saw that it was good. But what did man do? What did Esau do? They want to destroy it. Tear it up. They want to put concrete on everything, like cavemen.
If I may, just like when the shutdown first happened, like when everybody wasn't allowed to be on the streets like that, you had basically the earth purifying itself. You know, slight purification in, man. You know, Jack's Beach actually got fluorescent water. Little did we know, you know what I'm saying? You can go out there, move your feet through the water lights up, you know what I'm saying? People don't know that. That's it. St. Augustine. Also in Italy, through the canals, they said they didn't have dolphins come through there for decades, man. You know, but hey, once the shutdown happened, hey, you had dolphins going back through there, you know? So Esau out the way, shit. The earth, hey, when the wicked rule, the people mourn. All right, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Man.
Hey, right, man, we get Fred Flintstone out of the way.
Right.
We have grass growing on the earth again.
Yeah, that was their first industrial revolution, the Stone Age. Stone Age. Hey, but as far as like, let's take Jack's Beach for instance. All right, the reason why the water looks so polluted like that is because one of the main entrances to the inlet is this river right here. And this river channels all the way into the intercoastal. And from the intercoastal, once these ships are going through there, they be picking up the soot from the bottom of the ocean and be mixing it with the bottom from the bottom of the river and be mixing it with the ocean. So therefore it turns the water over there dark as shit. And it pollutes it by bringing all that by mixing. That's why in the intercoastal It used to be salt water, but now it's brackish because it's a mixture of fresh water and a mixture of salt, because they opened up the channel, which had it blocked it off. So this would stay fresh water, and that would stay salt water. But the salt water goes all the way from over here over to the Buckman. On the other side of the Buckman, it's straight pure fresh water. And you can see the division in the water where you have the fresh and the brackish water. So because of the industrialism in Jacksonville, Florida, that's what's contaminated and mixed the waters together to throw them off balance.
Yeah, and illegal dumping off in the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
That's why they say the Gulf is more clear than the Atlantic. So they're doing a lot of dumping off the shores of the Atlantic. All right. Let's get back to the point though. You read already 21? Yep. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon 6:1. So what? They got wisdom. Our people already had it. It said what? Jacob the former. Somebody get that, Babaka Shah? Right. We had everything first, man. Not Esau. They came up with science, falsely so called. But we had the true knowledge. Knowledge and wisdom and understanding was given to Israel. That's the moon and the sun that's under the feet of the woman, according to Revelations 12. That's been given to us to stand on. That's our foundation. Yep, go ahead, bro.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 4, verse 1. After this, I looked, and behold, a door was open in heaven, and the first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, come up hither, and I will show thee signs, Shalakia, I will show thee things which must be hereafter. It is ultimately speaking on that sea of glass, that prism, all right, and it's lining up with Revelation 15:2, and I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast. Just what the brothers and the elder were just speaking on how that's why we coming back into our remembrance. We coming back into that knowledge. That's why it's imperative for our people to resort back to the scriptures, resort back to the book, all right? Because now we can go back into the times of old and read these accounts, and we can figure out the true science. We can learn to a certain extent, all right, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, to where now we understand that prism, that sea of glass, to where if we are of that hopeful elect, that hopeful number, to be saved out of the said perils, to be saved out of the destruction of this place, we can stand upon it and see the mushroom cloud of America, all right? So Jen, again, that prism that the elder was speaking about, pertaining to another element that the Lord created, all right, to separate the firmaments.
Right, man. The sea of glass, man. It's out there. It's physical. And it's beautiful too. If you look at the firmament, man, you want to see the Lord's power, just look at the firmament. Talk to the camera, bro. All right. Look at that. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6.
This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, verse 1. It says, hear therefore, O ye kings, and understand. Learn.
That's right, man. Our people, they're kings, they don't even know it. They call themselves everything but a child of God. You know? Go ahead.
It says, learn ye that be judges of the ends of the earth.
Right, so this goes into Esau as well. Right? Esau is a king too. Right? So yeah, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6, right? Yeah, it's really to Esau too. Go ahead.
It says, give ear, you that rule the people, and glory in the multitude of nations.
Right, so they're glorying in the multitude of nations today as well. All right, go ahead. So who gave him that power? Who gave him that wisdom? Go ahead.
It says, for power is given you of the Lord.
See, our God gave him that power. So God giveth, the Lord giveth, and the Lord can take away.
It says, for power is given you of the Lord, and sovereignty from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsel.
Woo. So the Lord gonna try all their works, and He's gonna search out all their counsels, man. And what do they call themselves? Secret societies, man. They can't hide nothing. There's nothing that they can hide from the Lord. All right, so when they're sitting in the secret, creating a weapon against us, the Lord right there behind their shoulder watching them make it. The Lord giving them the idea to make it. So the Lord knows how to dismantle it. The Lord doesn't have to bring them down to weakness for us to destroy them. He's got to strengthen us. You see that? China said the same thing. They ain't got to destroy America. They just got to get stronger. And as they're getting stronger, America hates that. And they're ultimately going to destroy themselves.
And there's a movie called 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas, and he was traveling. He was an Arab. And he was playing an Arab. He was traveling with some bikers. You know, bikers, they big, heavy dudes. And he was like, hey, y'all need a sword. So they tossed him a sword. It was a big-ass, heavy Viking sword. He was like, bro, I can't swing this sword. It's too heavy. And he was like, then get stronger. The Viking walked off. Just practical, just all right, just get stronger then.
Right,
and that's what China, Russia, and all these other nations have chosen to do.
That's right. That's like bearing our cross. We bear our cross every day. That makes us stronger in the end. Like the man, there's an old saying, they saw a man that was carrying an ox up the street. And nobody knew how he was carrying his ox up the street. They're like, you must be strong, man. You carrying a big ass ox up the street. But they didn't know, since that ox was small, he picked it up every day. So he got used to it. And by the time people saw him, he was strong as shit in their eyes. Just like us, we carrying the Excalibur. We continue to carry this baton through this race all the way to the end, carrying our cross. We're on the hospital. It's not yet known where we shall be, but we know when we see him, we shall be as he is. So he's leading us to a certain point, building edification, building us up, making us strong. He said, desire the sincere milk of the word, that ye may be strong thereby. So as we carrying our cross every day to the end, that cross is gonna feel like a matchstick by the end. Meaning the suffering, the affliction. It's gonna be nothing to us. See that? So that's why the title of this is, there's no weapon formed against thee that shall prosper. All right. So the Lord don't have to make them weaker. He don't have to take their weapons away. He's got to make us stronger to be able to resist their weapons. And that's it, man. That's what he's doing right now as we speak.
That also shows his power too. Why? Because he don't have to make Esau bring him down to a lower level. He just exalted his power. The Lord Yahweh Shem.
Come on with it. That's right. All right. So that's what? That's power on top of power, showing that he's the most high. There's nothing above him. All right. He can build them all the way up into the heavens, and they'll never be as high as the Most High, man. All right. Precept. Exodus 9:27.
This book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them.
Right, the portion of Jacob is not like them. Low louder, brother.
The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things.
Right, so we're not like Esau. Esau is not the former of all things. Just because that's our brother, going back to ancient history, around 2006 BC with Jacob, that's when he was born. So just because that's our twin brother, we're not like them. The Lord said what? There's two nations in Rebekah's womb. The elder shall serve the younger. So two manner of people. So we're not like them. We're the former of all things. You see that? And they're the end of all things. Yep, there you go.
Exodus 9:27.
Yeah, come the water.
This is Exodus chapter 9, verse 27. And Pharaoh sent and called for Moses and Aaron and said unto them.
Right, remember the Lord raised up Pharaoh to show his power. He raised up Esau to show his power. And what is Esau going to say at the end of the day? Go ahead, same thing Pharaoh said.
I have sinned this time. The Lord Yahweh is righteous. And I and my people are wicked.
There you go. That's right. They're going to know it in that day. All right, that them and their people are wicked. All right, that they are the wicked. Go ahead.
Entreat the Lord, for it is enough.
Right, so he was asking Pharaoh was asking Moses to tell Yahweh to stop sending thunderstorms, to stop sending the rain. It was flooding, and it was storming. You know how the lightning here in Jacksonville, it keep me in the house, man. Keep me in the house. Go ahead.
That there be no more mighty thunderings and hail.
See, he wanted the hail and the thunder to stop, showing that the Most High controls the storms. Esau want to be like God, so they're trying to manipulate the storms. You see that by cloud seeding and messing with the weather. But the Most High controls the storms. All right, go ahead. Oh, okay, go ahead, finish.
Okay. And I will let you go, and ye shall stay no longer.
29?
Come on. This is verse 29. And Moses said unto him, as soon as I am gone out of the city, I will spread abroad my hands unto the Lord, and the thunder shall cease. Neither shall there be any more hail and thou mayest know that the earth is the Lord's.
Woo!
Damn.
So they're gonna know that the earth is the Lord's the same way Pharaoh knew it, man. All right? So they're gonna find out that the earth is the Lord's, not them, but he did give it into their hands. All right, so he gave the earth in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So it's given into their hands so they can manipulate the weather. You know, they got the power to kill. We got the power to give life. You see that?
And to show them that they're wicked. Because what it say? Show favor unto the wicked. They still won't learn righteousness.
They're not. According to Revelation 16, they're still going to be calling on idols. That's like can't get right from life.
Can't get right. I got
it can never be right. Yeah, you can never do it, man. All right, good.
All right. This is Daniel chapter 2,
yeah, we're gonna switch that
verse 47. It says, the king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth, it is that your God is the God of gods and the Lord of kings and the revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret.
Right.
This is what Nebuchadnezzar said about Daniel when he got all the wise men out of Babylon, right? Because he remember he had a dream that this fucking messed him up, but he couldn't remember what the dream was. So he called all the wise men of Babylon and said, hey, I want y'all to tell me what I dreamed because it troubled my spirits. And not only that, interpret it for me. So Daniel, they said only the gods are able to provide some type of knowledge like this. But Daniel, it was given unto Daniel by Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua.
Right, and the Lord said, Nebu stooped down and Bel crouched down too.
God.
So the Lord already handled their idols. You know, Nebuchadnezzar, that was an idol they worship. That's what they call themselves. That's what they call themselves, Nebuchadnezzar, meaning son of Nebu. So they worship the idol called Nebu. See that? So they was everything that happened, they would get commemorating it to their idols. Just like today, everything that happened, they commemorate it to the same idols, Baal. Today it's called Jesus. Same thing. Baal was changed to Zeus. Zeus' name was changed to Jesus. So our people still worshiping Baal. But the Lord said we should no longer call him Baalian. Meaning all these idols, we don't call him.
Balenciaga scandal. They said they changed the name from Balenciaga to Baal.
Come on, brother. Baal, Balenciaga. That's right, brother.
Worshiping that.
You got it.
Baal came from carnival. You know, carnival. It's, meat for Baal. That is a sacrifice for idol. Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're gonna switch at 5%.
I can't even see it.
That's the reason they made
Can I turn up the
in
brightness?
South America and Brazil.
Yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, I don't
carnival.
Yeah. And then the whole carnival thing.
No. It's a carnival is like a parade.
It's similar to Mardi Gras, but it's more. It's more.
No,
big.
it's like carnival. It's a Caribbean festival. It starts in Trinidad and it goes all over everywhere.
4%.
It's just like they dress up into them. You see them big tall things walking on the stilts like that? That's the Caribbean festival called carnival.
This title was like button manipulation. All right. Let's keep going, man. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3.
This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come and fallen away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Right, so the whole earth is groaning, and always the question has been, when are we going to rule, and when is Esau and these nations going to fall? Even during the times of Nebuchadnezzar, this question was asked. You know, that's why he was shown the vision of the statue of all the kingdoms, going all the way up until the time of the 10 toes, which is, the European Union, 10 common market. Then what happens at the feet? He said, the Lord shall take them at the feet. That's when Yahweh is going to show up and raise us up. All right? Where you was at, brother? Who was reading?
I was. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3.
Yep.
All right, keep going. All right, verse 4. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called power,
Start that one.
or that is worshipped, so that he is God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Right, so yeah, we fell away in 70 AD. But the Lord was saying, hey man, y'all not gonna rule just because I'm here. You know, when Yahweh Shah was on the earth, they thought they were looking at the Lord, so they're like, we here, so we about to rule. Go get them, you know, take them down. Yeah, right. So that's why Yahweh Shah said, no, there's gonna be a falling away first. And the scriptures say what? We was gonna discontinue from our heritage. All right. So there was gonna come a falling away first, and Esau had to be revealed in two ways. One, through their own actions. Remember the gold and silver being a witness against them, taking us into slavery, and then on the other hand, us revealing them through the word. See that? So they're revealing themselves through their actions that they're the wicked in these last days, and we're revealing them through the word. So the time of the revealing is now. Go ahead. So all these things had to happen first.
All right, verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
Right, so Yahweh Shah was with us. So he literally probably told you, or told me like face to face, or spirit to spirit. But we're in different bodies now. So you were probably there. If you're alive in these times, you were most likely around during the time of slavery. If you were around during the time of slavery, you were most likely around during the time of the Exodus. Yeah. Can't reach it, man.
Fall down there, man.
That's the words, boy. You get some ink or some shit.
Feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right behind your phone.
All right.
Look at me.
You know, people on the internet like Esau did it.
Oh yeah.
They ain't nothing but the devil.
Yeah.
No, I don't say that. They give him too much power.
Verse 6. And now you know that what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way.
Yeah. So now the mystery of iniquity is already working. So what we know about cloud seeding today? But they was already doing it since 1940s. Adding water to the clouds or silver to manipulate the droplets that come out of the cloud. And it was poisoning people, it was getting people sick. All right, so when we see the floods over in Fort Lauderdale,